Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wednesday Call Live. Now, let's hear it for our special guest host, Michael Hartlieb.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the TWC. Honored that we were asked to get on this call, and it's always an honor when you're asked to help contribute to the team. Anyhow, I got some warriors on the call here with me today, and we're going to ask them some questions. Our topic today is basically, if nothing changes, nothing's going to change. And these three people, I'm going to edify them a little bit. They've overcome some things that you guys, every person that has succeeded here has overcome something. You just don't know it. Okay? And a lot of people think, oh, they just came like this. Oh, Lord have mercy. I was a wreck. I'm still a wreck. And that's why I need these calls, and I need these guys around me so I can get better. Change is inevitable. It's what we're going to do with it. And if nothing, and like I said before, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Success will leave clues. Listen to what these people say, what they changed about themselves. They all have different backgrounds. They all had a boss in the past before they joined us. Each one of them has qualified for Ireland. So on the call with me today, I have Olive, Michelle, and Brian. Okay. Olive qualified for Ireland her first year in the business. Michelle has qualified for several different trips, and she's been with us, I think, 2 or 3 years now. And Brian's in the top 3 or 4 producers in the country. Okay. So I want to start with Olive, and here's basically the question I have. First of all, Olive, tell us what you did before you joined the Alliance.
Absolutely. Well, first, I just want to say thank you so much for thinking of me and having me on the call. And hello, everybody. Hi, Alliance family. So I used to be a waitress. I used to be a server for many years. And I also did music. I still do music, but like I was gigging. And yeah, I just never really felt like I found something that, you know, I knew that serving and being a waitress was dumbing me down. I was around people and I was like, why are all we talk about is food and each other? This is so boring. I'm going to go crazy. So when the Alliance found me and I found the Alliance, it was like perfect timing.
Okay. Interesting. Good. Michelle, how about you?
Peace. Hey guys, thank you again so much for having me on the call. Before this, I went to school. I went to school for marketing, didn't do that. Ended up getting a job at a doctor's office, and then I was working at FedEx before this. I didn't have like, I want to do insurance. This is the thing. Like, it kind of just landed in my lap, and I'm so grateful. You know what I mean?
That's a good thing. That's a very big thing right there. And let me go to Brian. Brian, what did you do before finding the Alliance, or before we found you?
So, hey guys, my name is Brian Rojas. My beautiful wife, Christine, she decided to join us on the call today. But before the Alliance, I was actually working on a 9-to-5 job in the call center, selling Medicare supplements for Aetna. And I did that from 9 to 5. But then from 6 to about 2 o'clock in the morning, I used to put on my Uber cap, and I became an Uber cab driver and for Uber and Lyft. And that was every single day. And I also worked at a warehouse on Sundays, every single Sunday. So that's what I did. Nothing special, man.
And you're one of the top producers in the company right now, nationwide too.
I wasn't scared of working.
That's true. I know that's right.
I was just looking for that.
So here's my question for Olive now. And then I'll go to Michelle, and then I'll go to you again, Brian. What change did you make from going to having a boss to being your own boss?
That's a good question. Well, and I'm still learning this. I think right now I'm even learning this more than ever. that I am accountable for every decision that I make in my business and in my life. So that's the biggest change that I've made. I went from being a victim to realizing that that's a choice, and I don't choose to be a victim any longer.
Okay, good. How about you, Michelle? Same question.
Some changes that I made. So I read, and I get around. When I came in to this business, so I lived in Tampa. If you guys are not from Florida, Tampa's on this side of the bridge, okay? And then St. Pete is on this side of the bridge. And like, there's no reason why you have to go to the other side of the bridge. Like, there's just no reason, you know, if you want to go to a good restaurant or something, it's all here or they're there. Okay, well, the Alliance over here, what they were saying, Tampa was really St. Pete. And so that's a commute. So I had to start, you know, going out of my way to get around Mike. And it just so happened that getting around Mike, I got around Brian. And then getting around Brian, I got around Stephanie. So I had to go out of my way to get around these people because they were not going to come across the bridge for me. So, you know, so you had to just start, you know, getting a little inconvenience on that part. And then also, like, I mean, just investing in yourself, like, whatever that means to you, you know, time, money, energy. I never, like, I was very scared to purchase leads. I know that we don't really discuss that fear part about it, but it was super scary. And Mike, you know, you were there through the whole process. Like, it was just, for me, I didn't see it as an investment in the beginning because it was so scary. So I saw it as a bill. And so that mindset had to change. And I mean, and if you remove whatever, the dysfunction, growth is automatic, right, Brian? So it's just one of those things where I'd say those were probably the biggest changes that I made. So it's who you associate with, what you're reading and what you're listening to.
Is it easier being your own boss, Michelle, as opposed to having a boss for you?
Oh, definitely not. Okay, so on TikTok, the way they market it, you know, like, I know you guys watch the TikToks and it says, you know, like, be an entrepreneur, put your feet up, wake up at 11, chill out, girl, go to the beach. You can work from anywhere. And it's like, it's a facade. It's not real. It's a grind when you work for yourself. And I think when you realize that, and then if you take two things that are hard, like, it's hard working for somebody else and it's hard working for yourself. And if you just make two things equal that are hard, it's like, which one is worth it? And so, like, I just say, like, it's a grind, but it is worth it working for yourself.
Amen. Brian, how about you, buddy? The same question. You had a boss. I think you still got a boss. She's right next to you, too. Yeah. So.
So I think one of my biggest things that I had to learn how to change was the way I thought about fear and taking risk. And also understanding what this whole, you know, becoming your own boss or being self-employed was, you know what I'm saying? I think that most people they don't want to face that fact, that it is harder, that it is not easier. People they don't tell you what time you got to clock in or clock out. Everything is on you. You have the freedom to do what you want, but in that freedom, you also have the freedom to do what you don't want. You know what I'm saying? So it's easy to do it, but it's not easy to do it, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
So overcoming my own fears, looking at myself in the mirror, I think has been the most challenging part about this, because there's things that in my life, I know I had to change, you know, in order to be at that. Like, I knew I could do it, but I didn't want to face the things that I had to face in order to do it, if that makes sense. Like, that fear of facing myself, I think and becoming a student of myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, learning myself, learning who Brian Rojas truly is, and facing that was very emotional for me.
I think you always think you go ahead, Crystalline, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I think that's one of the biggest things when you're your own boss. Back when, you know, you weren't really responsible for a whole business. If something didn't work out, you would kind of just brush it off. Oh, I guess it's not for me. Oh, you know, I'm going to go a different route. And becoming an entrepreneur and being your own boss and having all these responsibilities, you come to find out, okay, well, if this doesn't work out, it's not because, especially when you're part of such an amazing system, it's not because of the system is messed up. I got to figure out what's wrong with what I'm doing. And it's just becoming disciplined and like everything Brian said. But yeah, it's just kind of like, okay, this is my only plan. You know what I mean? And just kind of like figuring it out, running with it so you're successful.
Good. Very good. But Ryan, you did say something that brought a question to my head. You said you always knew you could do it.
Yeah.
Did you ever have doubts about that?
Every single day till now. I'm 6 years in, man. There's always doubt. Look, whoever tells you that there's like doubt will not creep in, it's flat out lying to you. You're human. I'm human. Till this day, I still have fears. Here's the beautiful thing about it, though, Mike. Fear is in your eyes, it starts off as a big monster, and you're right here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the more you grow, this monster will never ever grow. That's the beautiful thing about this monster. In life, this monster will always stay the same height. The thing is, as you grow, that monster will stay there. Okay? And you will grow. The monster will always stay there. The thing is, you've outgrown the monster. Here's the beautiful thing about life. There's bigger monsters on top of that. So you got to outgrow them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so like in life, there's always doubt, even nowadays, man. And here's the one thing that I've learned about how to kill fear is through activity. Activity will change your identity. Activity will give you self-confidence. Activity will let you know that fear is just false. It's not true. It's an emotion. Okay. And so, yeah, I'm still constantly learning, constantly trying to be a student of this game. I know that Brian Rojas will be a millionaire. See what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure out how fast can I do that? How fast can I get over myself, And that comes with three things: the people I surround myself with, right? The guidance I receive, and how well am I able to execute on what they're saying, right? How fast. And then the other thing is the books I read and the things I listen to. So those three things are changing me every single day.
You know what I like what you just said about that?
Yeah.
It's real simple. You made a decision to be rich, but you want to be rich. All you got to do is start.
Yeah.
Who's going to stop you? You know what I mean? Who's going to stop you from getting rich? The only person that can stop you is you. So it's just a decision. And it's just starting. So, Olive, here's my next question. Did you just make one change, or have you made several changes since you started?
Ooh, I would say several. I would say almost everything about me and the way I think and the things that I do have changed. Because of that sense of freedom that we can get because we're either self-employed or we are our own boss and we're building a team. That is my most exciting change recently, that I have been really like, it's just something clicked and I got like 3 people in class, and just being able to like be a leader and guide them through it. Literally, I feel so fired up. I'm so lit up. I'm like, oh, this is why everybody is so excited all the time. Because that's just natural for me. And so I'm like, yay. But now it's like I'm doing the work and I'm seeing the results, and it is so cool. It is so awesome.
Cool. Now let me ask you this question, a follow-up question to the first one. Mm-hmm. Are the changes you made, did they come off of your thought process, or did somebody help you with those decisions?
Wow. I would say it's both, but mostly with somebody else, for sure. People, and maybe it's not even like something super direct. Like, I think sometimes the direct advice and the direct guidance is so powerful, but like sometimes it's like caught, not taught, right? Like being around the leaders, like leaning in and being close to the fire, being close to all of you guys. Like, you're like, oh shoot, like they really are working all the time and they're happy about it because they're not slowing down. You guys I've never seen any of you guys really slow down. All 4 of you have only gotten better since I've known you. So because of that, now I'm only getting better. It's awesome.
Cool. How about you, Michelle? did you just make one change, or have you made several changes since you started?
I made several changes. Guys, several changes needed to happen. And so, like, I'd say, like, mindset, if we're talking about my first, like, mindset change, when I came into this business, and it's kind of like all I knew is, like, in my family, if you do something, no matter what, it's like such a big deal. Like, and I don't mean like professional or something. I mean, like, if you break a glass, it's like, oh my God, like, it's a glass, or like, if you do this or that, like, everything was always such a big deal. And then I come in this business and I would, call Mike when somebody doesn't show up to my appointment, and he's like, all right, hey, hello, I just told you they didn't show up to my appointments. And he's like, all right, well, get to another one. Or, hey, I just had an agent and they didn't sell the thing. Well, all right, well, they got to do something else. And it's like this art of not making things a big deal. And when I came in this business, I thought it was just a Mike thing. I thought it was just like an older man thing. Like, oh, it's no big deal to you, maybe. But it's like, and it seems, and people laugh at what I'm saying, but it's like, I'm so for real, you guys. Like, I couldn't figure out like how this man, and then you get with Andy Riddle, and he's like, this times 1,000, like, nothing is a big deal to him, because they just are like solutions. And it's like, if you are not around somebody or connected to somebody that is like, that's trying to take you out of whatever the problem is, if you just want to dwell in it, and this is not the environment for that. Like, everybody here just wants you to move on and move on, being forward, not backward, not sideways, just forward. And so that was probably the first thing. And then second thing is like the way I thought about money. Like, if you guys ever get a chance, tell Cassie, get with her and ask her how cheap I am. Like, I am so, or I was so cheap, like, to the pennies. I just wanted to make money, but I wanted to hold it and smell it and sleep with it. And like, I didn't want to let it go, because I was just so afraid of like not making enough or not having enough. And like, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Like, I used to work, way back in the day, I used to work at overnight at Adidas, and it was like maybe like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like stocking shirts and whatnot, and I was like, dude, we should order pizza. And the guy was like, if you order pizza, that's like 2 hours of your work. And I was like, what? I just want pizza. Like, and he's like, it's like $24. And at the time I was making like $12 an hour, and he's like, that's 2 hours for that pizza. And that stuck with me. Like, it really stuck with me, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, I hung all these shirts for pizza. And like, but now the way that I make money, like what we get paid an hour, if you break it down, like, my rent is 3 policies flat. My car payment is 1. Like, if we start to think about money this way, or like, hey, if I drop 1,000 tomorrow, I know I'm gonna make 8,000-9,000 next week. Like, I like those things. I didn't have that naturally. I don't know if other people do, but it was definitely something that I didn't. So just probably those were probably the 2 biggest things. And then I made some personal changes, like as you grow and things like that.
So these changes that you've made that have impacted you positively, they came off of other people's advice or just off of your thought process?
Oh my gosh, off of other people, like. And it wasn't even so much that like you have to call them and ask them a question or something about it. I think if you're just in constant communication with people who think differently than you all of a sudden you're just gonna start speaking different and start acting different and thinking differently, and just naturally. And then there'll be some stuff that they can just mentor you on. So definitely not my thought process, the ones up above me.
Okay. How about you, Brian? Have you made only one change or numerous changes? I've seen a few things with you.
Man, dude, I mean, going back from where we came in the alliance with a ponytail, braided man bun, you know what I'm saying? I look, to going into people's homes and not being able to take an objection or rejection or them not wanting a policy, and then just kind of like literally kicking the hell out of their plants, and or eating their car. It was wild. I was super emotional. Like, Crystaline's so embarrassed right now because she was in the house with me. It was just not good. Like, controlling my emotions was the biggest thing that I've had to learn in this business. Attitude, learning how to see this world in a positive view, like having an attitude of gratitude, even though everything is going wrong, right? We don't understand that you're like, if you're looking at me right now, you have $1,000 object looking at me right now. You're in the top 1% just by default, by you looking at this, you know what I'm saying, video. And it's like, we don't count our blessings. You don't understand that. Like I see Olive and Michelle, and they're in the car right now. Most people outside of America don't. Like, I was born in you understand, I was born in America and my mom wasn't. So I'm able to see very closely the contrasts. So when my mother always spoke to me, it was always like, be grateful because at least you're in America. You didn't have to go through all the shit that I went through to be in America. And that always stuck with me because it's true, man. You know what I'm saying? The way my mother, who was an immigrant, thought and thinks to this day, like I could have been that, you know what I mean? But yet somehow God has placed me here in this culture. And I can tell you, like 6 years later, I'm not the same man. I'm still not the man that I want to be, but I'm definitely not the man that I was 6 years ago. You know, the mindset has shifted. Like Brian Rojas is not scared of investing. Like one of the biggest things that I think I learned in this business is learn how to invest in my business. Mm-hmm. Like having an assistant for me. That was the scariest thing in the world for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, now it's not a big deal, you know, but getting over that was a month and a half, like mental paralyzation that I had for the both of us. It was freaky as hell. But the problem was I couldn't get past 20,000. Like I knew I could do more, but the abs and the pending and all that stuff was holding me back. And Riddle would talk to me, dude, you're having this problem. You need to do this to fix that so I can free you up in time. I'm like, it makes sense. I'm freaking out though. And aren't I supposed to make more money by doing this? and now money's coming out. Like it doesn't make sense. Like, but he's like, dude, by you doing this, it allows you to buy time. Time is your most precious commodity. You no longer get paid $17 an hour. Now you're getting paid $500 an hour. You know, and it's so that mindset shift that Michelle Colin was talking about, man. And there's other things too, but that attitude of gratitude and that investing in my business part was so vital for me, and teaching that to my guys too. You know what I'm saying? Like duplicating that into my guys. So,
yeah. Gratitude's a big thing. See, since we've been on the call, we don't know this, but somebody just took their last breath, and we take it for granted.
Yeah.
So we take the little things for granted. You know, as Crystalline, I'm going to ask you a question. As a spouse,
okay,
were you nervous when Brian decided to make some of these changes, like hire an assistant?
Yeah, for a period of time I was, and that's why I'm so grateful that you had patience with us and that Andy Riddle had patience with us. It was just like you guys kind of stuck by the process and you kept pouring into us and kind of kept repeating the same thing in different ways to us. So finally it clicked. You know, at first we were kind of like trying to figure it out, but if at all possible, avoiding what you guys were telling us to do. And we finally came to realize that, you know, it wasn't going to work the ways that we were trying. It hadn't worked. So we're like, you know what do we have to lose? You know, we're just going to go for it. And it was the best decision we ever made. It was scary as all hell, but no, we started seeing results right away. And so no, it was definitely awesome.
Cool. Aviv, what do you think one of the most significant changes that you made that's impacted your success?
Oh my God. Oof. Not giving up is one. I'm still here by the grace of God. By the grace of God. I lost two really significant people in my life last year. One was my grandfather. He was 92, you know, lived an amazing life. My father passed away in July. And he really believed in me. And I know he still does. I mean, he I would call my dad and my mom after I sold like every single policy, like the first couple months. And I was so excited and they were so happy and they just loved to see me grind and to see me actually be excited about work. And I remember a conversation that my dad and I had, and he was so excited. He said, "You're just blossoming." It was the sweetest thing, and I'll never forget that. I'll always remember that. And so that change that I made from losing a lot, that was out of my control, right? Like you said, people take their last breath. We have no control over that. So being able to not blame my circumstances, right? I didn't really take a lot of time off initially when my dad passed away. And that was kind of just to honestly forget about it. And then it ended up happening to where it kind of just happened. There was no other choice. I kind of had to slow down. I was just doing too much. I was trying to distract myself. And I had to really like realize like, I'm not acting the right way. This isn't working out. So let me change some things. Let me make sure I taught, like, it was a complete chaos, to be honest with you. It was chaotic. So that was a big change for me. I had to realize what I was doing before, and then with significant changes and things that I couldn't control happen in my life, and me having to deal with that as a daughter. Okay, so, and I can't eat without my business. I have to work, right? So it's like learning to be able to take the time to grieve, to take the time to be a human being, to take the time to like actually call people on the team and be vulnerable. I would say that might be the biggest change I've made. I was so hard before, and I act hard and I act tough because I am. I mean, I've been through a lot. Like, I couldn't have gotten this far without that. And my dad actually taught me that. My dad was bad to the bone. When he was on his, like, literally on his deathbed, I was like, "I don't want to leave you, Daddy." And he yelled at me. He was like, "Go." He said, "Go to work. Like, I don't matter that much. Like, you will always have my love, no matter what happens. But you need to go and take care of you." So that's been the biggest change, I think, is to realize I have to take care of me, whatever that means, every day.
Good. How about you, Michelle? What do you think were the most significant changes you've made for your success?
I think so when I came in this business, I have had the same group of friends, I think, since I was like 11 years old. And me and my friends, we are tight. Like, we just are. And when I came into this business, I told Cassie straight up, I was like, "Look here, I'm getting into the alliance, and these are my coworkers. Like, they are my coworkers. They're not my friends. Like, I have my friends." And I was trying to separate like my personal life and this business. And I did, like, I really did that. And it was so crazy because, like, naturally, like, on that first trip, when Brian and I got like close, like, it's great. People come up to us now, or come up to me. I don't know if they come to him, but they'll ask us if we're really related. And like, that's a reflection of how close we've gotten, because like, he's my brother, and Stephanie too. Like, she's my sister, and this is my family now. And like, it's been amazing to like let these people in, because my other friends don't get it. And so, not that they're not my friends anymore, like, they're still my people, but you need people in your life that understand what you're doing on a day-to-day, or it will always feel like you're missing out on something, or like, oh, again, you're going on this work thing, or again, but when you're over here, it's like, yeah, that's right, go get yours, or call your people, and they're celebrating you in a different way. And so to collide those worlds together, my money has went up, my network has went up, the friends that I've made here, it feels right. Like, it feels like a place where like I want us to like be able to have our family here and see other people's kids grow up here. And like, I don't really know another place like the Alliance that we can do that. You know what I mean? Cool.
Brian, what do you think your most significant change was that attributed to your success?
So understanding my numbers. Understanding my numbers was huge for me. Okay. So like when I first started, the first 3 months of my business, I quit. All right. Because I thought I was working. And truth be told, I would dial 100. I would try to copy, Mike, what you used to do. Okay. And it was so unfair. Like I would go into your, into your office, and you would like, I knew your numbers so well. You would do 120 to 140 dials and get 12 appointments at that time. And I'm like, okay, I need to do 120 or 140 dials. You see what I'm saying? And I thought that I was going to get the same result. No. And it was like, you would get like 10, 12 appointments, and I would only get 2 or 3. And I thought that was enough. I thought I was working because that was my bar, 120, 140 dials. And I remember the guy that first brought me into this business told me, dude, you didn't just go all out. Like, show people that you want it. You know what I'm saying? Like when was the last time you did 300 dials? When was the last time you doubled up? You know what I'm saying? And that's the advice I would give you today. Whatever you're doing, I hate to break it to you, it's not enough. It's just
Amen.
Because you're not in the leaderboards. If you really want it, how hard are you willing to go at it? You see what I'm saying? I see all these people texting telesales. I love you. Like, I get it. Telesales. I did it too. Look up the YouTube videos. If you want knowledge on it, look up the YouTube videos. I did it. I'm telling you, the money is telesales is great. I love telesales. I'm telling you, the way to get up there is through going to the homes, man. Okay. Do both of them. I do both of them. While I'm driving, I'm still, I'm calling people. Don't just stick one thing. Go all out. When was the last time you did $500 in a week? I know a guy in the Treasure Island office. He will sit down and he will do $500 in one sit. And it's no wonder why that guy is in the top 10 in the rookie leaderboard. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's no wonder. And before he got with us, like, he thought he was working. Now, one thing is that, go and outwork everybody in the room. Next, you need to perfect your skills. If you don't know how to grab a check, you need to be looking at yourself and recording yourself in the mirror. Mm-hmm. You suck. Let's get it. It's okay to say it. It's okay to say it. Stop blaming the system. Stop blaming your coach. Stop blaming other people. How about you point the finger at you? It's you in the home. You see what I'm saying? I went 22 appointments without a single sale, and I knew I sucked. So you know what I did? I got around. I would ask questions. I was always cocky to talk smack, but I was always humble to ask a lot of questions. You see what I'm saying? Like, Mike, you know this about me. I asked you so many questions. 3 years ago, I was not in the annuity leaderboard. We would go on Metro Diners, Waffle House, calls. I would ask you, what does this mean? I would take pictures of statements. I would rob the pictures of statements. They would say, no, you can't take pictures of statements. Too late. I would go to people's homes because I didn't know how to ask. You know what I'm saying? So before they said, no, I'll take the picture. I'm like, I got it. I got to ask a question. You see what I'm saying? Like, until I got good enough and you taught me how to ask questions. I remember I got around you and I would ask questions about like getting annuities. How do you sell annuities? Right? And then when COVID came, I would get around Katrina Gustin and I would see how she would do it over the phone. I'm like, oh, hell nah. This is actually simpler than what I thought. All I gotta do is act and ask the right question. Bet, say less. Like, let's keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And it's no wonder why all these little changes, Mike, has catapulted me. You know what I mean? And it's fun. It's now getting fun. Guys, if you are struggling and selling, just know it's you. Just know it's you.
That's not what I thought you was gonna say.
I know. I could see your face. You thought it was gonna be deep. It's not deep. It's you. But it's okay because now you know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Right? Here's the answer. you need to ask. You need to go to that person within that county that's killing it, within that state. You need to ask somebody that you're cool with. And if you're not cool with nobody, guess what? That's your fault. Because we got all over. We got the view from the edge coming up.
That's right.
And then you're over here. I don't know how to say this without cursing. How do you say bitching and complaining? Bitching and complaining. Without saying bitching and complaining.
Just say complaining.
Complaining. You over here complaining, right? That you got to pay money to go get around leaders.
Calling the ambulance.
Calling the ambulance. Okay. But you want to get good, but you don't want to pay to get good? What sense does that make? It's like a slap in the face to me. It's like a slap in the face to Michelle Cole and to all of you who have paid their dues to get good. They have paid their dues to win the Ireland leaderboard, the Ireland trip. They have paid their dues, okay? And you want it for free? Man, you better back the truck up, dude. You better stop it. You better
just free.
Easy, killer.
I'll be congesting me for real. Let me tell you something. You can change, or change will come. Either way, change is coming.
You know what happened? You know what I learned once, Brian? Somebody told me that's one of the leaders here. They said, if we don't change is coming. It's just that you're not going to like the change that's coming. Being broke is not. It's going to get broker. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
Alavi, were the changes you made easy?
No, absolutely not. I think that's probably the hardest thing to do, actually, is to change yourself. Because like I was saying earlier, like, it's those outside circumstances. We always want to blame somebody else, or, oh, they didn't call me, or it's like I have to make a change. I have to pick up the phone. I have to call you guys. If I don't, I know where it's led me, and it's not good. I get into analysis paralysis. I start making all the decisions for myself. I start listening to people that I'm familiar with because it's something that's comfortable to me. Of course, change isn't comfortable. That's the whole point. And I'm grateful for it. I actually love to change, but it's painful. But I'm a better person at the end of it. So I got to look myself in the mirror and say, do you want to stay the same, or do you want to get worse? Do you want to get more broke? Or are you going to go into that house, probably make a fool of yourself? Maybe they won't like you because of the shoes you're wearing. Get a new pair of shoes, sell a policy, go buy some shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of my own excuses. I know that for sure. And I don't want to make excuses for myself anymore, because it's led me, every time I think I know what's best for me, I'm usually backsliding when I take my own advice, because I want to be comfortable. It's bullshit. Excuse me. It is. But I'm just fired up because I'm happy I'm saying these things out loud, because now I have to be even more accountable. I only want to get better.
Do you think the changes you've made, Alaviv, have been professional or personal?
Ooh, both for sure. And I think they kind of bleed into each other. I know they do, because I was actually listening to the E-Myth last night. If anybody has listened to it or read it, that was a Brian Rojas told me to listen to it. That is fire. Oh my God. I think look at that. Beautiful. So pick that up if you haven't. I was working out and listening to it, and I think it's between like 15 and 17 chapters. Like, that's just straight up everything that was coming out of that man's mouth was amazing. And he said, your business is a direct reflection of yourself, directly. If your business is sloppy, you're sloppy. If your business is unorganized, you're unorganized. If your business isn't professional, you're not professional, period. And I was actually smiling, like, because I'm like, yes, I'm just that because I can control that. That's pretty much almost the only thing I can control is myself. So that gets me fired up. Okay, so now I'm going to get organized with everything, because like Terry was saying the other day, the way you do some things is the way you do everything. So I look around. Yeah, my room is kind of a mess. Not completely. That's the thing. In some parts of my life, I'm organized, but I would say it's maybe 60-40 of the disorganized. Like, I'm going to be honest with y'all, and that's okay. It's my first year. And thank God I have an amazing mentor like Brian. He reminded me that yesterday. He said, you just got out of your first year. He always says, give yourself grace. You're going to learn. And thankfully I have such a tight knit family and work associates that I can say, what the heck is going on? And then they just say, keep going, just keep going. It's like making those tiny little adjustments. It's just the little things. I'm not gonna wake up one day and be a freaking millionaire. It takes time. And if I don't course correct and say, this needs to get organized, this needs to change, it has to happen gradually.
Right. Michelle, how about you, buddy? Are you changes you made professional or personal?
I'd say both. I think I was reading this book and it was saying that just about how it blends in, right? Like there's no work-life balance. Like if your home is great, you're more than likely going to perform great at work, or if work is bad, you're going to be bad at home. And so they go hand in hand. So as I've grown in this business, I've grown as a partner, I've grown as a friend, I've grown as a leader. I don't think you can't do that without the other. I always say this, this business is changed where we live. It's changed how we live. It's changed how I'm getting married. Like these things probably couldn't have happened as quickly as they would have elsewhere if I was doing anything else. And then and I don't think what Alvi was saying before is just they were little changes. And my friend said this to me the other day and I forgot, she noticed this. She was like, I've seen how you've grown, because on TikTok, I feel like I'm a normal person, regular, but then when I get in front of a camera, I become so awkward. And 2 years ago, and you asked Cassie, I couldn't make a TikTok without taking a shot first. And I don't even know if the one shot do anything really, but in my mind, it was gonna make me relax, You
mean a shot of booze or a shot with a camera?
Whatever come on. But it was just I had to do that and get out of my comfort zone. And then she told me yesterday, she was like, look how you speak in front of people. And I was like, oh my God. I remember, I had to go back, and it was that didn't happen overnight. You guys didn't just put me on this call, throw me to the wolves, but just gradually as I've grown, it's just gotten easier. And I didn't even remember doing that. So, I mean, professionally and personally, honestly.
What's harder to do, growing professionally or growing personally?
I don't know. It's either, here's the key. It's when you're looking at your business, it's you need to grow, right? Because if you're not where you want to be, you need to grow. But when you're doing it personally, it's you don't know all the places that you need to grow, because you've been so programmed. It's all this conditioning up until now. So you really don't know what you need to fix until something happens. And then somebody tells you this, I would have handled it like this. And you're like, I never would have thought about doing that. Or you read a book that says, say it like this, or don't do this. So I'd say it's easier to see the growth you need to do professionally, but it's probably harder to accept the changes you need to make personally to grow.
Wow, that's right. That's right. How about you, Brian? What change have you made? Changes both professionally and personally, or have you just made changes in one?
Yeah, no, it starts personally for me. It starts by us picking up a book, us calling people and checking our thinking. We've read books that has totally changed. I remember one of the books that totally changed my life was that book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself. You remember that book? That book changed how I talk to myself a lot. And I still catch myself saying some stuff.
With your mindset.
You know what I'm saying? How about this? The book Atomic Habits. That book totally changed. Another book. Here's there was this other book that A Perfect Day Formula. Oh my God. When I read that book, it was a cheat code basically to win for me. You know what I'm saying? Hey, how about this book? The book Goals. I never was one to shoot. That book taught me that if I don't aim for something, I will aim for nothing. And guess what I'll get? Nothing. Because that's what I aim for. And it taught me that my mind doesn't know good or bad. It just knows what I tell it to know. You know what I mean? So if I'm hitting low, guess what I'm going to get? Low. Because that's what I told my mind to do. But if I'm hitting high, aim high. Like I remember this one podcast that Andy Albright did. I'll never forget it. Never. It was episode 120. It was about 3 years ago. Y'all had came. It was my first year in the business. Y'all had came from Miami. Not Miami, Hawaii. Y'all had came from Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? And he started talking about this book, Goals, and how it's changed his life. And the one thing he regrets from writing down his goal is that he didn't hit higher goals. He didn't write down higher goals because he had met every single goal that he wanted to. And what would have happened if he would have hit higher goals? You know what I mean? And hence the reason why I wrote down, we're going to go 70,000 2 months in a row. And then things just started happening. But I wrote this down in the beginning of the year 2 years ago when it wasn't even a thing. It was scary because that book tells me to write down big, hairy, audacious goals. Goals that if they don't scare you, it's not big enough.
Tell the people what that 70,000 represented, because you just said 70,000. We know what it is.
It was a lot of it was annuities, okay, but it was also a lot of work involved because here's the thing, right? To hit 70,000, to get 120% contract, to hit 70,000, bro, it's not just hitting 70,000. You got to do it 2 months in a row, and you got to do over 40 applications. See what I'm saying? So don't think that it was just annuities or 4 applications. Nah, bro, there was work involved. There was a lot of investment involved. So it's just a lot of things. And so that these personal goals, right, these personal things that I've been working on carry through and overflowed into my business life automatically. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing that I learned from Andy Riddle. He said, dude, the more you grow, the more your business grows. It's just automatic, bro. It's automatic. So yeah, it started with personal, but it overflowed into the business professional side.
Cool. Alabi, let me ask you this question. You got thousands of people listening to this call right now across the country, okay? And they all want what you guys got. What would be the one thing you wished you knew sooner that would propel you that these guys can implement today?
That's a great question.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I would say what I wish I knew sooner was honestly to and I thought about this now that I'm having I have agents and that I'm like, showing them the business, is to really slow down and actually know the business, like understand the business model. It's a system. All we have to do is plug into it. And this is where I am. This is the system. This is all my personal problems, right? So I have to clear out and I have to put my ego in the back seat. I got to be coachable and teachable. But honestly, I would now, like they have the Alliance University now is so beautiful and so user-friendly. I've been going through the videos. That is what I wish I would have done sooner, because I just watched the FIE video of Andy Albright. I think he did it back in like 2013 or something. Those videos are gold. I'm like, my mind keeps getting blown. I'm like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. And I've been doing it for the past year, but now I'm really understanding it. So I would say just to slow down and make sure that I'm watching the training videos on kind of the concept and the standards that we all should be behaving in order to accomplish the system and to replicate it and to be able to show it to somebody else.
Got it. Good. How about you, Michelle? With thousands of people here, and they want to be in Michelle's shoes. What's one thing you wish you knew sooner that would help propel these people to be like you?
Oh my gosh, it's such a, like, I literally, like, when Olivia was talking there, I'm like, listen to what she's saying. I'm like, yeah, that's so good. Yeah. What's the one thing that I could say to you?
It doesn't have to be one. If there's a lot, that's okay.
Oh, shoot. Well, there you go, Mike. What's the first couple things? So like, I just learned this a month ago. So I think that's what really threw me. So when I came into this business, I guess I didn't like fully grasp, like how, like I had never seen that much money before. So I only was thinking about how I could make the money. Because I was thinking to myself, all right, Michelle, like you just help this many families. They said you could do as many as you can. Like, I'm just going to do that portion. Right. And the recruiting part, I even hate that word recruiting, but having people join the team, I couldn't really grasp that. Like I couldn't, because I guess I just didn't know any better. So if I could say one thing to you, I'd just say like, get with somebody else's belief and let them show you the impact you can make for somebody else. Like, let them show you that you don't need, it's not about you. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, let me test it out. Let me drive this vehicle. Let me see what's up before I tell people what's going on. And it's like, it has nothing to do with me. If I just would have like listened to what everybody else says and like just say, hey, like, you know, just offer it to somebody, see what, then these people's lives would have changed 3 years ago instead of them waiting on me now. So I think that's a big thing that I would change going back. It's just like fully grasping the impact. And then secondly, it's just like, believing in yourself. Like, if you could, like, you guys don't, like new people, even veterans, like if you've lost your spark somewhere along the way, but like new people, especially if you're hearing me, like, steal our belief. Like, we are not, it would be impossible for all of us to be full of crap, you know, like it would be like, it's so impossible. If you like define what success is for you and just understand that that's okay. So if you just want your car payment, like let this business be the vehicle that just helps you do that. And don't compare yourself to wherever, because if those are not the things that you want, just understand that success is okay too. Like, I love our part-time people, our full-time people, we're all cool, but like our part-time folks, like this business couldn't run without you. And so like, if you're not ready to grow a massive business yet, that is okay. Keep doing what you're doing, remain consistent, keep plugging in, because at some point you're just going to start to see how it could impact somebody else. And then it's going to turn into something big.
Did we always believe in Michelle Colon?
Oh yeah. Like, it's like, it felt really weird. Like, I guess I've never, I tell you this all the time, Mike, I've never really had people like just say like, you can do it, or maybe they felt that, but they've never like outwardly said like, you could do anything you want to do, or like be an entrepreneur. I've never seen entrepreneurship. If you've never seen it, this is your first time, that's okay. If you still haven't like fully grasped what it is, that's okay. So when you come here and all these people are cheering for you, let it seep into your life. Let it give you all the feels, because you're gonna need it. And then go back and get some more, get refueled. And that's why the conferences are so important. That's why your team is so important. Whoever's team you're on, like plug into wherever you're at, because you constantly need to be told that this is for you and you can have it. And there's nothing between you and success and those kinds of things.
Cool. Brian, what's the one thing you would tell people, or a couple things you would tell people you wish you knew sooner than later?
All right, so I don't want to be controversial, okay? So this is just for my team. So I'm talking to you, Olive, Jonathan Rojas, Luis Salgado. I'm talking to you guys. Austin, here's the thing. Don't believe the lies of the enemy, okay? Do not believe the voices in your head. He came to kill, destroy, and conquer your blessings, okay? If you will just stay put and stay planted, if you will just do the work, okay? If you will just do the work with faith that it'll work. It doesn't matter about the leads. It doesn't matter about anything. If you are in, like, hey, I'm talking to you. If you are with our team, you're not here by just coincidence. There is purpose in your life. There is purpose. God has called you. He has predestined you. He has already gave you a name. You understand what I'm saying? It's very deep. Don't get mad at me. I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm just trying to tell you that God has given you a name that is above anything what those negative voices are trying to tell you, that you're not good enough, that you don't know how to sell, that you don't know if this is going to work, that you don't know if, hey, listen to me. God has got it in control. If he takes care of the tulips and the birds in the sky, what not more will he take care of you, that you are made in his likeness. You understand what I'm saying? You are chosen people, all of us. Stop believing the voices in your head. All right? Nobody is out against you. We are all here for you. You call me, I pick up. You text me, I will text back. You understand what I'm saying? I'm here for you. We are here for you. Stop trying to think that we are out against you. Those are negative thoughts, and those negative thoughts will keep you where you are. Check your thinking, stay humble, stay hungry, and do the work in faith.
Let me tell the world this about you three. This is why I'm proud of these three. They quit chasing minnows. They started chasing giants. Because you chase minnows, you're going to die. These guys are giants when they came in. It's just that they're changing. So they're not going to change. They're not going to chase the minnow. Let me tell you something, Brian, that I don't think other people know. And I don't think anybody ever thought about it. You know, we as people are the only ones that can see the future. We're the only ones that have the vision to decide what we want. We, the people, we are the only ones. So if we're the only ones that can have that vision, why aren't we chasing it? So you signed up for The Edge, all three of you?
Oh, yeah.
What would you tell these people out there in across the country about attending these things? Do you think they're worth going to? Harlieb?
They're definitely worth it. I already told my people about it. Yes, it's absolutely worth it. I'm super excited for this one. I would say make sure you are ready to go, because the tickets, like your plane tickets and stuff, they're going to be cheapest typically now. So that is super important. And I love going to these things, because every time I realize I've connected with a different person. Last time I was connecting with the Leventoviches, with Noel. I was like, you're so cool. Because when you're there, there's tons of people. And so every time you go, you're going to connect with somebody new. And I'm always so impressed and humbled and like excited when I meet the top earners, because they're the nicest people. And I'm like, I'm a nice person. I'm going to make it.
How about you, Michelle? Do you see this as do you see these meetings, these events as an expense or as a necessity?
A necessity, absolutely. And they're like, if you've never been to one before, they're nothing like you're expecting. Like, not one bit what you're imagining when you think you're going to an insurance conference. The people that you're going to see there look nothing like you're imagining they do. The leaders, like Olive said, they're nothing like you've imagined. And so like it ends up being, the first time you're there, you may ride the coattail of the people that brought you out. Let them do the initial introductions, make sure that you mingle yourself. But the next time, you think that you hung out with these people for years. Like, it's so strange the way I do it now. Like, I'm like, hey, seriously, like, if we're just a family and we want you to win. And so they're absolutely, if you're in with us, if you're like, all right, I'm just going to see I'm just going to see what this is all about. I'm just going to see if this is for me. I'm just going to see if they're telling the truth. And you commit to going to the View and the next one and the next one and the next one, right? Your life is going to change. It's going to change. And make sure that when your life is changing, that you bring somebody with you. It's like, if that's probably my regret, it's probably the first time I didn't have people see what I saw. And then each time it's gotten better. The View from the Edge will be better than any convention that we went to thus far, because the alliance is just getting better. We're getting better. Our team is growing. And so, guys, I want to meet you. If wherever you are, I want to meet you, and we'll all be there. So I think it's absolutely necessary.
How about you, Brian? You going to you got your tickets to the event?
Yeah, I'm bringing my wife, myself, and I think I have 2 more tickets, if I'm not mistaken. But what you call it? I think it's
everybody in our team has a ticket.
Pretty much
Plus,
everybody.
they bought an extra one to bring somebody.
Yeah, we believe in this so much. I mean, dude, I remember the first 3 conventions I went to totally changed my life. I mean, one of those conventions is where I learned how to do emergency response systems. It's where I learned it from the guy. And I put into practice in 2 weeks. I made $13,000 off of that. You know what I'm saying? One of those conventions is where I started getting very close to Riddle, who's actually told me about, the 4 basics. Who I was a year into the business and I didn't know what a 4 basics was. And no wonder I wasn't being profitable, right? It's just you getting around people, man. You make it a point. Don't just go there to go there. I'm telling you, write down who you want to get around. Write down who you want to talk to. Write down who you want a piece of their mind so that it can catapult you, man. This is why we go to network, okay? And to get around. We believe that birds of a feather flock together. You know what I'm saying? And the rising tide raises all ships. So make it your business, not just go and be in aha mode or wow, just exploring. Be intentional about who you want to hang out with. Be intentional about being likable. You know what I'm saying? Smelling good. Be intentional about being likable, looking good. You know what I mean? Remember this: be memorable or be forgotten.
Ooh,
right. Oh. So when you go to the conventions, be the best dressed, be the best smelling person. You know what I'm saying? Be the best handshaker, be the best smile out there. Be the best attitude out there, because people will know you. So that would be my piece of advice, man. I think these events is what's helped us grow to who we are now.
Yeah.
If I can say something real quick?
Sure.
So I remember our first convention. We carpooled with a bunch of people, and we only had enough money to have eggs, bread, and we took some canned beans with us.
Yeah, we did.
And at the Airbnb, we made sure that we made our little breakfast, our eggs and beans and our peanut butter and jelly sandwich. But we knew that we had to get close to the fire. If you don't make,
don't judge us, Michelle.
If you don't change is coming, and it's not going to be for the better. So we made sure that we did what we had to do. And I mean, 360 last convention, we had a 2-story suite, which I don't say that to brag. I say that to just know that where you are today is not where you're going to be tomorrow. But unless you do something radical, you're not going to be in a better place tomorrow. That was one of the biggest things. Also, one of the hugest things that we learned is make a friend before you need one. Go to these conventions to just get to know people and build relationships, because you don't know when you're going to need their help, when you're going to need to ask a favor. And the same way around, they might ask you for a favor. And remember, there's going to be a day when you might need one. So just kind of build those relationships. I think that's huge. And just go with the open mind, go with the open heart. When you go to these things, you need to try and aim to be at the front of the conference. You need to try and get the front seats and soak everything in. Clear your phone before you go. That way you can record, take notes. Don't be one of those people that are out in the lobby worrying about stuff that's not important, just lollygagging, chatting, kikiing. None of that is important. You need to be in the front learning, absorbing it all, because this is your business, this is your life, and nobody's going to change it but you. So definitely go to these conventions with the intention to meet people, get to know people, but know that, like Brian said, it has to be intentional. It's not just going to be handed to you. You have to like take it. So that's my biggest advice.
That's my Valentine.
That's your wife right there. Wow. Shaky boom. So, you know, it's amazing. We keep talking about the cost of this thing. Get the tickets before they're cheap. I think they're cheap now, for God's sakes. You could probably spend $2,000 to buy these tickets and still come out ahead of the deal. You'll still make more money.
Mm-hmm.
We got to quit. People have got to quit looking at this thing as an expense and start looking at it as an investment in themselves. For God's sakes, college costs more than what this. How much is the tickets now, Brian or Michelle?
I have no clue. I bought them at like $199. I think they're like $400 now. I'm not sure.
$400. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
College costs more than that, and people are not making they're not using their degree, right, Michelle?
People spend that much on
Oh,
shoes.
that's not even right. That's not even right. Y'all heard him say Michelle's not using that degree. No, I'm not, Mike.
But you are. You're using it in your business from that standpoint
No, but
because
that's
of your
right.
communication. You're an excellent communicator.
No, it's
So-
right. Right. Oh.
We leave clues. These guys have left clues for all of you. If you picked up on a clue, implement it. If you want to be like them, implement, or not be like them. If you want what they got, be like them. So, you guys want to add anything? Because I'll cut this thing off.
Just keep
Michelle?
going. Don't give up. Have an amazing day.
All right. I
That's
believe
it.
in all of you.
Believe
Get
in
it.
you.
Thank you. You all have a great day. Bye-bye.
You too.
Later.
Bye, guys.